Valéria, del Brasil.
Good afternoon. It is a pleasure to be here today. It's an honor too. My name is Valéria Macedo. I'm from Brazil, and I'm an author. When I received the invitation to be here today, I was thinking, how can I connect with you all? And I decided to speak about that something that is the heart of my journey as a writer, and it is connection. I can recognize connection since my first attempts to write as a child through my most recent book. Connection drives us. Connection, for me, it's like a thread that ties all the relationships that we build, all the emotions that we feel, all the stories that we read. So when I was a child, I was writing, trying to connect with my father. My father, he was ill, and I was trying to make sense of everything that was happening. I was trying to understand him. I was trying to be understood. So we were living in the same house, but I was like in my bedroom, writing letters for my father, who was in the kitchen. And I was trying to make sense of everything that was happening. And we were exchanging letters. My father letters, he used to write poetry for me, and using lyrics from his favorite songs. And I still have these letters, and it means a lot to me. It is interesting because my father, he passed away like 25 years ago, and the letters must be 35 years old. And every time that I read it, I can recognize something new about my father. So I think this is the power of the words. And I can see myself changing when I read his letters. As I grew older, I went to work in IT, then I became a dentist, then I got married, I had 2 kids, and one day my husband received an invitation to leave Brazil, and we accepted. So we left Brazil about 12 years ago. My daughter, she was 3 months old. My son, he was 4 years old. And we lived in Miami, in Paris, in London, and now we are here. I know I'm a super lucky person. I couldn't pick better places than this. And in every place that we arrived at, I was doing my best to be part of the community, to learn the language, to try the food, to learn the maximum that I could of the culture. And after, I think, 9 years doing that, moving from one country to another, I was feeling a lot of fear that my kids couldn't remember everything that we lived in those places. So I couldn't imagine them not being able to remember the people that we met, the places that we lived, the school that they studied, the first times of something, the adventures, the mistakes, and the challenges, and the lessons that we learned. So that's when I had the idea to write down everything that we lived in those places. So when I went to write, I started to read much more Brazilian literature and listen much more Brazilian music, and I was paying attention to the lyrics of the music. I was paying attention in sentence and expressions and sayings. I'm still doing that. I'm like savoring words, and I couldn't realize how my identity is tied to Brazil. When I was doing that, I realized that I was missing a lot of things, and I didn't notice before. So I was feeling more complete. I was feeling like in home, at home again. So it was like I was living between 2 places: the place that I used to call home, Brazil, and the place that I was trying to make a home for my kids. And actually, I noticed that I couldn't make home writing. I was feeling as home while I was writing. So I understood too that home is not a place. It's something that we are carrying with us, and it is the result of all the connections that we do in our life. So I wrote my first book. It's called The Clear Eyes of the Bird, Os Olhos Claros do Pássaro, and I wrote all the experience that we were having in those places, and this experience were shaping us. And I wrote about my childhood, I wrote about my father. It was my way to present my father, the grandfather that my kids, they never met. So I found my way to connect everything that was precious for me with my kids. And after publishing, I felt connected with my family much more. I felt more connected with my father, with my old friends, with my new friends. I was really happy when so my book was in a bubble, and suddenly he went out of the bubble. The bubble for me is like family and friends. And it was beautiful to receive feedbacks from readers that they could relate with my experiences. I was putting deep thoughts and feelings, and I think it's the mission of a book. It's to be a bridge between people and to increase empathy and to bring new perspectives of things. So I was really happy, and now I released a new book, and it's so new that I don't have it yet here because it was released about 10 days ago, and it was in Brazil. It's a fair, it's called FLIP, it's International Fair of Literature in Parity, and it happened to be published very fast because I sent my manuscript, my novel, to a prize, and they received it was an award just for women writers, and I got third place, so I'm really, very, very happy about that. And this book is about, I wrote for my mom, and it's called A Falta Que Ela Faz, or She's Missed. And I'm saying a lot of N. Sorry.
So good.
I'm not used with this. It is about the complexity, the complex relationship between mothers and daughters. So I'm talking about the ambivalence of motherhood, the expectations that society has for a woman, and all this universe. I think I wrote in honor to all the women that I met in my life. And before I say thank you that you're listening to me, I want to say that, like Claudia, I never imagined to write a book or to be a writer. I never imagined to publish. I never imagined to be here talking with you all. And I think life finds leading us to paths that unexpected paths. But for me, I can see myself writing as long as I can. And I think everybody can be a writer. Everybody can. You don't need to publish something, but if you can, and keeping the idea of connection, if you can get a little note every day and write something for someone that you miss, or put in the backpack of your child a beautiful message about something that you feel. I think literature or writing or stories, I think stories, it's not about reading or writing stories. I think it's how the stories make us closer to each other and with our true life version. So thank you very much.